Alright, tonight we are going to look at types of numbers and review what all of those mean. And we are actually going to go to the bottom of your page first. So we are going to start with natural numbers. Natural numbers are also referred to as the counting numbers. So we have the counting numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And over in this box I'm going to put 0 because you don't start counting with 0. Then we're going to go up to whole numbers. So whole numbers consist of the natural numbers, which remember were our counting numbers, and 0. So that's why in the one before we had our 0 here, and then our, there we go, our counting. So out of whole numbers we have 0, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here, so whole numbers are the natural numbers and 0. So over here, I'm going to put -5, -4, -3, -2, and -1. And then we're going to go back to integers. So the integers consist of the natural numbers. So our 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. So all of our whole numbers now. And the opposites of our natural numbers. So that's where we have our -2. So in our boxes down here, we have integers are broken up into the whole numbers and our negative numbers, so the opposite of natural numbers. And examples of integers are -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. So 0 is a whole number and an integer. 1 is a natural number, a whole number, and an integer. And some more as we keep going up. A non-integer fraction is a fraction whose numerator is not a multiple of the denominator. So an example of that is 1/2, -5/4, 8 3/7. So it's a fraction. It's not an integer, and it's not an integer written as a fraction. Alright, going back one more step, we have rationals. A rational number is any number that can be put in the form p divided by q, where p and q are integers. And q doesn't equal 0. So 3 is a rational, because that can be written as 3 over 1. 12 over 6 is a rational number. -5 over 2 is a rational number. 4 1/7 is a rational number. 8 13. Anything that can be written as a fraction. From the rationals, that's where we got our non-integer fractions. So all of our fractions. And then our integers, which again are our -2, -7, 0, 1, 8, 10, etc. We also have irrational. So that's an irrational number is a non-repeating, non-terminating decimal. So what that means is that the decimal never ends. That's what non-terminating means. And non-repeating means that the decimal doesn't repeat. So the square root of 2, if you put that in your calculator, it's non-repeating and non-terminating. Pi is an irrational number. Negative cube root of 7 is an irrational number. Square root of 13 is an irrational number. 0.121231234 is an irrational number. And finally, we have our real numbers. A real number is either a rational or an irrational number. So we have 4 is a real number. -7 is a real number. 0, 2/3, square root of 11, pi. So pi is an irrational number and a real number. whereas 4 is a natural number, a whole number, an integer, a rational, and a real number. All right, flip your paper to the back, and you are going to fill in your chart. And on your chart, you are going to mark if it's which of the following boxes it belongs into. So, like number 1, is negative square root of 17. That one is going to be, if we put that in our calculator, the decimal is non-repeating and non-negative, so that's going to be an irrational number and a real number. Whereas if you look down to like 15, negative square root of 64, if you simplify that, you get negative 8. So the negative 8 is going to be an integer, a rational, and a real number. All right, you have 2 done for you. You have 13 more to go, and if you circle number 14, then you will get extra credit tomorrow in class.